Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Lemnisk Leadership Podcast, where we speak with industry leading marketing experts and practitioners about all things marketing, data, and technology. I am Subra Krishnan, your host and co founder and CEO of Lemnisk. I'm thrilled today to be speaking with Sivakumar Sheshadri today. Shiva, with his 33 plus years of diverse experience in government and corporate sectors across the globe, is a recognized veteran in the fintech and insurance industry. He served as a digital and techno marketing advisor to several government and private financial institutions in Saudi and beyond. And over 20 years as COO, CIO, and CDO. He's worked in tech, digital, design, MarTech, and e commerce across multiple markets: North America, Saudi, Europe, India, Asia, and the Far East. Shiva is known for transforming businesses into digital growth powerhouses, delivering tangible outcomes, and setting up digital factories and design studios to discover, design, deliver, and grow innovative solutions, right? And he's developed and grown over 100 full-fledged products across fintech and insurtech domains, earning global recognition from Gartner, from IDC, and insurtech. He's also advised major insurers worldwide on digital transformation. And most recently, and this is something we'll cover in the podcast today as well, he also co-authored a book titled Product to Perfect that summarizes, I think, and I've been a reader and I've read the book, some of the most powerful frameworks he has used in his career. So Shiva, I told you I've always wanted to do this podcast with you. So very warm welcome and thank you really for joining us today.
Thank you, Subra. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast. I think Lemnisk is a very creative and innovative product that I came across. You are a very, we always had a very interesting conversations. Enjoy speaking to you. It'll be a pleasure and look forward to your questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Likewise.
for hosting me.
Yeah. So one of the first things that I wanted to start off with, Shiva, just to get the ball rolling. If I think if I look at your own 30 plus career experience, I think it's fair to say that you would have seen a huge tectonic shift in how customer experience has evolved in the last 30 years. I mean, starting with, let's say, the internet boom through late 90s and early 2000s, to then the mobile boom, then the social boom, the e-commerce, and then now you've got AI shaking things up. So just walk me through, just how have you seen this evolution personally, and what do you think have been the big shifts? What has changed? What has not? Would love to just kind of get some sense from you about that to get
Yeah,
things rolling.
okay, great. So, Subra, from a customer experience perspective, I think the last 5 decades have been like 5 different generations. It is not one kind of customer experience across these decades. I think maybe before 50 years ago, it might have been similar, but then every decade has been completely different. So I call this the age of arena. No? So what do I mean by it is that I think it all started originally when customers used to wait in agony. Right, agony is a simple word, but you will feel the pinch when you stand in a big queue. I used to work in LIC way back in 90s, and at that time, it was very common for very prominent insurance branches to have on the tax days or on the specific end of the month, people used to stand for 2 floors, 3 floors out into the road, waiting and wanting to pay their insurance premiums. That's agony age. Before computers, maybe even after
Age of Agony.
computers, maybe even after computers, it used to be like this. I used to man the counters, and we always used to worry how to minimize it, how to make it better, and how to simplify it. We used to open 4 counters extra. We used to do simplified processes. Irrespective of it, it used to be an agony moment. And then I think the age of computers really helped it, made it a little bit more faster, but still, agony is agony. You have to wait in a queue, you have to get it done, right? Then came the generation of reach and access, right? Which is the internet age where people could go to a site, pay their premiums or pay their utilities, even though the experience was not that great. It's old clunky website. Still, it used to reduce the agony dramatically, right?
Yes.
And that was the next, let's say, decade or generation. And then we moved on to customer experience conversations, right? Which is the engagement decade, where now a customer no need to call the toll free and wait for 20 minutes. He has somebody to access to. He can talk to a chat agent. He can talk to, let's say, submit a contact us form. He can get a response after 2 working days or 5 working days, whatever it is. That engagement era is the social media era, right? And then in the last 20 years or 15 years, you see the age of now, right? Which is basically where people want everything now. I need an instant response. I need a immediate delivery. I need a quick food, and it has become like convenience is a product because of the age of now, right? So, and that is powered by mobile, by social media, by all these revolution by themselves. And now with AI coming in place, I think we are reaching an age of anticipation where we are trying to see what is going to happen. How well am I going to be served? And people are looking for it. I think a good example is the recent Labubu factor, right? What's in a box you don't know, and you anticipate it. You want to look for it, and I think a lot of sites, even apps, started using a next best action, a next best recommendation to say, what am I going to see? Because when you hyper personalize it, it is completely becoming a new ball game, and an age of anticipation. And I think anticipation becomes a product. So all through these, let's say, arena ages, right? The age of agony, the age of reach, the age of engagement, the age of now, and the age of anticipation. Each one of these, I think it has moved away from standardized, templated forms and delivery to a completely personalized, your own specific experience. And basically, this transformation has happened because of the power of internet, then the power of mobile, the power of social media, and now the power of AI, that is driving to it. And I've seen through it all my life, and every one of my stages, I still remember moments where customers used to be annoyed, and at one point of time the customer was very comfortable waiting in a queue for 1 hour. Now the customer have literally no appetite for even a 10-minute wait. Why should I wait? Why should I wait? And I think they are fair. They are
Yes.
fair. And I think if a business has to succeed, if a business has to really become successful and transformative, it really needs to take care of the customer. At the heart of everything is the consumer that is driving all the actions. And you have seen that this age has created the Zeptos of the world. Otherwise, Amazon was serving, that age was serving the products. It can deliver to you in 1 day or 2 day. Now people are looking forward to getting it in 15 minutes. And I will not be surprised in the next maybe a few years, you will have maybe always a box waiting outside your home with minimum essentials, and you can go and take it whenever you want. And all these kind of, let's say, anticipation is really changing the ball game. And I think that's how it has evolved over time.
No, I think this is a lovely framework. Starting from the age of agony to, which is a few decades back, to the age of anticipation, as you call it, and that's, I think, a very very useful mental framework to look at how organizations have transformed themselves, right? But I think, Shiva, one thing I can say, I think with a lot of confidence, is in many ways, in knowing you and knowing the kind of incredible respect that you enjoy wherever you go. You've been immensely successful, I would say, at transforming organizations you've been part of. So one thing is to say that we moved from age of agony to anticipation, but I think it's also fair to say that along the way you've had all kinds of complexities. Like, you've got the number of touch points have increased, you've got, as you said, customer expectations have increased, the amount of data that you have at your disposal has, like, exponentially grown. Organizational challenges have grown. So, if anything, digitally transforming an organization has only also become along the way, I would say, trickier, right? But you've done it very well, and I have seen certain cases. I've had a I would say a front row seat to this, right? Um, what I'm curious is what generic thought process or frameworks allow you to demonstrate this consistent success? What are the learnings, and what would be your advice to digital transformation leaders? And I would try to get your responses from an organizational perspective, from things like culture, team, etc., and then probably from a technical perspective as well. I would love to sort of break this into two pieces.
Great question, Subra. From a overall thinking process perspective, end of the day, a transformation is about two things only. One is a problem that is clearly defined, and another is the outcome that is clearly solving that problem. If these two are fundamentally identified correctly, you can break any transformation that is possible. If I think in many occasions, it's not that I did not have challenges in my transformation. I had a lot of great, let's say, initiatives where it was successful, but I also had a lot of challenges in some of my transformation, and maybe some of them didn't go as well as it should as well. Now, the fundamental framework, as I see it, is problem and outcome focused. If in many cases, I always find that where you fail because you didn't define the problem well, or you didn't focus on the outcome at all. You were thinking, I'm solving this, but you didn't have a clear focus outcome in front of you. Now, I have several examples that I can share at this moment. When way back in 2000s, I was working with the Victorian Bond Authority in Australia, and where we were trying to create a complete electronic platform and a physical services, and also like a mail room to do their bond transactions real time from multiple locations. Now, this was a very complicated, multi-country, outsourced kind of a model where we had physical setups, we had offshore centers, we had data centers in multiple countries. So it was extremely complicated. But at the front of it, when we went into the bid, so I worked on this from bid stage to delivery stage all through, and it was a very tough initiative, because when we went and pitched it, we were the only one that we pitched that we will do all the four, which is people, process, technology, infrastructure. And it was crazy to propose in the first place, and it actually helped the bond authority to think that we are custodians, why we should be doing all of these routine transactions. So when we did this, it was a very unique pitch. It helped the organization to win it, and once we win it, the organization said it's too complicated. You do it. You explain how to pitch it, so you do it. So I actually went through the process and pain of setting it up. So we had to think of so many different dimensions about the whole bond authority. Thankfully, we were able to do it in 6 months' time. And at the end of 6 months' time, that is when all the rubber hits the road. Huh? And we had so many challenges. We couldn't meet SLA, we couldn't meet their technology aspirations. We had challenges in migration. You name it, everything was there. Even hardwares couldn't scale, all of that. But then somewhere in the corner of our mind, we always felt that we want to focus on the problem, and the problem was, how can I make the customer's bond transaction seamless, real time, give them what they want at that spot. Within the goal was within 8 hours, we want to receive a bond, process a bond, pay them back their money end to end. And it used to start at morning 4 o'clock in the mail room and finish before 3 p.m. in the afternoon with money on their account. In those days, there were no gateways, there were no setups. We even had to ship physical checks sometimes with signed by the governor of of the state. So it's very high security operation. It is extremely complicated setup. But we were able to do it only because of the fact that we wanted to raise the bar in terms of how we thought through. So the problem and the outcome was what driving us consistently. And I've seen this in every one of digital transformation outcomes. Rather than looking at it as a technology project, as a innovation, as a creativity, etc. If you are really able to narrow down the transformation to a problem and an outcome, it really helps you to focus and get things done. Now there are many other aspects that goes into it. Yes, this is one element of it, which is the vision side of it. But
Yeah.
but the vision alone is not enough. You need a very solid team. You need a great methodology to operate, and an operating model to run. You need a good technical or technology architecture thinking process to do these kind of things. And also, you need to be able to understand the change management side of things. Now, all of these will help you to take you to the finish line only. You will be able to say, I went live. But I always find that the journey starts after it, because
Hmm.
every project finishes at some point of time. Either it is 1 year or 1 month or 15 months, doesn't matter, but it finishes at some point of time. But then the outcome never arrives on the day you go live or on the day you finish. And I always found that journey very interesting. And what I started doing, let's say 20 years ago, is that like any other person, I also used to be focusing on, okay, I came from a tech background, so my focus was, let me finish the project on time, with budget, with quality, and then I'm done. I used to think like that. But then I started feeling the stakeholder problem is not getting solved and is not getting better. So when you put yourself in situations where you commit outcome, you really are focusing your delivery into something else. It is no longer about, okay, I delivered a software, I delivered a center, or I delivered operations. I think it is more about, what did you really realize for the customer? Did you give him 10 minutes service, or did you give him a 1 hour service that you promised for? So the promise then drives everything else.
Yeah.
And I started then focusing on all my transformations on how can I realize the outcome more than how can I deliver this project. And that is a fundamental mind shift change.
Mind
And it's a
shift.
cultural
Yes.
and it's a cultural factor, because many organizations think that, okay, let me track the projects. I think you might have seen this in many organizations. They have portfolio managers tracking portfolio completion, but they don't
Yes.
track portfolio realization, right? And unless you start tracking portfolio realization, really you will finish projects successfully. It's
Yeah.
done, and at some point of time, whether you like it or not, with the delay, without delay, with quality, without quality, the project will get finished, but it will not give you the outcomes that you thought they are for. And you can see that's what is causing a lot of anguish for CEOs, CXOs, CDOs, because no matter I go to the best software company, no matter I go to the best vendor, they will give you parts of the tool. They will not give you the whole box and the puzzle. So that's why I believe a simpler way to look at transformation as, take the problem, get the outcome. And if you are able to articulate it in one line, I'm going to do this because of this problem, and I'm going to realize this outcome, and it will mean X to whoever it is, whoever the stakeholder, is it the customer, is it the shareholder, is it whoever, then if you're able to write this one line for any project successfully, and you're able to demonstrate these two are achieved, every transformation is possible. And that's how I see it. And when you reach there, you will most likely you will find that as a part of the journey, you go beyond the outcome always. You don't stop at the outcome. When you reach
Yes.
a 95, a 90% satisfaction, you always think, why only 90? Why it cannot be 95? Why it cannot be a 99? And that drives the whole transformation to another level. And I think this is a fundamental cultural shift. Now, coming to other aspects of it, how do you drive a successful team? How do you drive, let's say, a technology, let's say, tool that is scaling well, it is doing really well, it is able to deliver what you want, etc. I think there are many best practice frameworks. I typically use 4C as the standard architecture framework. It's so simple, easy to understand, and it helps to even teach the layman. From a people perspective, I think it is very critical to get your A team first. And I think more than a team, injecting the passion into their mind is the most difficult job. If you are able to inject passion into your team, you really don't have to do anything. They will figure out the way. And I think I personally believe passionate people can go beyond. Simple workers will do what you say. And I think it is not a transformational mindset. If you really want to transform, inject the passion into their mind, and it's possible. Every single person I have seen, I could make them understand the passion, because you should be clear enough with your
Yeah.
problems and outcomes so you can communicate it to them in a clear enough. So it all
Yeah.
goes back to those three, let's say, fundamental principles: great, correct problem, great outcome, excellent team, amazing technical thought process. You get the recipe to the right milkshake, let's say.
No, absolutely. This is fascinating. I think starting from the example you gave of, the Australian bond end to end 8 hours, all the way through to, the way you summarized it. Um, Now, while I understand the people part of it and the culture aspect of it, which means you need to bring a shared sense of the purpose of what you're trying to solve and the outcome that you're trying to drive, right? Which means you're not really ticking off boxes, but you're really trying to see whether you've objectively achieved what you set out to achieve, and sort of which in turn, like you rightly said, is articulated in just one single sentence, right? If you are not able to say it simply enough, that means you have a complex problem at hand. And I think that's a very useful way to look at it, right? But along the way, obviously, that means that while you have the option of defining the problem, defining the solution, and building a team which in itself is also aligned around this problem and the solution that you're trying to achieve, you still have another ecosystem beneath that, which is all the technology partners that you pick, the tools that you pick, and sort of how you assemble all of that and maintain, take it to the next level. The same passion and outcome orientation you take to the next level. How do you do that? What are some of the, how do you sort of, for example, pick partners or solutions that allow you to execute?
I think there are many models, Subra, in the world to do transformation. You can do fully federated models, fully centralized models. You can do a mix of both. What I have found very successful is, don't see partners as partners. See them as part of your team. And if you are able to leverage your partners really as your team members, then if the leader will really know what value a partner can bring, how can you drive them to success. Because end of the day, every partner ecosystem, or every, even an infrastructure solution provider, end of the day comes up with their own thought process. They don't design it for your personal situation or factors or issues and so on. So it is very critical for you to see your initiative as your team, and your partners as a part of your team. And when you do it this way, you will be able to communicate to the partner the criticality of achieving the outcome. And if I have seen this in almost all my partners, if you are able to convince your partner that this is a great problem and they want to be associated with it, they would want to. Because tell me, today, Lemons or any organization for that purpose, why would they not participate in the best transformation that's happening out there? Why would they not see that as a showcase for the organization, and also for the product that they are into? And I think globally everyone is dying to get into it. I have seen the Googles of the world get into community projects. They are not community project service providers, right? But they do get into it. Microsoft working on vaccine kind of solutions, emphasis foundation doing a lot of work around this. Why are they doing it? Because they want to be associated with these very interesting global level problems, and it fundamentally changes the country. It changes the thinking process. It changes how things are going. Even now, I think the Oracle and OpenAI are coming together to create a mother of all AI in America, which is again an interesting experiment for Oracle for OpenAI. It is the best play field that anybody can provide, and you can bring the best minds, best investment by creating such kind of integration. So integrating your partner into your ecosystem is very crucial in my opinion, and obviously all other aspects of it, which is, do you choose the right tech, do you choose the right solution provider, do you choose the right architecture, do you assemble the right way, or all of these, etc. I think then they are all becoming a very easy byproduct, because at the root of it is really the best minds get together. If the best minds are there, if I have the best architect that I can lay my hands on, the best architect is obviously going to think through all the situations much better than anybody else. And I think that's how it makes the difference. So I believe it's a very crucial aspect that any tech partner should start feeling they're part of that delivery as if it is their team, as if it is they are doing it for their company. And
Yeah.
inculcating it is a CDO, a CIO, a CTO's job, and a CEO's job. If it doesn't happen, you will find they will come for the billing, they'll finish, and then they will think that they have finished a good job. They'll finish a good job. But frankly speaking, it will be one of the 100 things that they anyway do. I think for every organization, flipping the coin, thinking them as part of your value chain is very crucial.
Fantastic. No, I think that's a valid point, because and I think this is something that we've experienced as well, that the successful transformations where we have been part of are those where, like you rightly called out, there is immense amount of clarity in what you want to achieve, and that shared sense of clarity and purpose is passed on to us as partners as well, right? And which allows us to look at our own product, our own solution, what is possible, what is not possible, and then sort of just bring that into the problem context that we've been given clarity around. And that
And I
actually allows us to deliver effectively as well, right? And so I can understand where you're coming from. Yes.
and I feel even sometimes internal teams by themselves should feel they are part of the problem and they are part of the solution. And I think it's historically happens, right? A technology project or a technology initiative, a lot of work is done by tech teams. But at the end of it, business will feel left out sometimes. Business will feel that I'm not part of this value chain. So it's very crucial to share that success with the partners, with the business stakeholders, all together to achieve what you want to achieve. And I generally enjoy it when a business guy stands up and said, "My tech team did this.
Yeah.
My partner network did this," because then it fundamentally goes to another level, because the creativity goes much higher, because rather than one person thinking, you have multiple people thinking now, and they are coming up with the best optimal, let's say, solution and performance.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. Let's sort of change tracks a little bit. Not actually change tracks. Let's talk about your book, Product to Perfect, right? Because and so for all of you listening in, it's a very simple read, but it's packed with a lot of insight and frameworks. A lot of what Shiva is talking about now and what has made him incredibly successful at what he does. He's really tried to distill all of that. Into these frameworks. So it's a highly recommended read, I would say. But Shiva, to your point, and I think we spoke about this once in the past as well. We've spoken about the motivation, right? Why did you write the book, right? And but I would love for this audience that's listening in to also understand it. Like why did you write this book? And if I'm a reader, why should I buy it? And what can I expect? Would love to sort of hear that.
Sure. So, bro, when I started early 2024, I never had an ambition or aspiration to write any book at all. I have written papers. I've been in speaking position in many events and conferences. But I never in my life thought I should write a book. And one fine day, one of my colleague just sprang up and said, "You have so much experience. Why are you not writing it?" And I don't know what came into my mind. I just started writing it, and 1 month later, I have a full, let's say, content in front of me. Now, I think the one of the primary things I feel is that typically when you do transformation, there are four important factors in any transformation. One is the product itself. What are you creating? Another one is the tech aspects of it. The third one is the design aspects of it, how nice or how wow it looks. And then finally, the growth aspect of it.
Yes.
I found that most of the books that I read are covering only one dimension or two dimension. They never covered all the four dimensions. Because when I started thinking of writing a book, I went and read a lot of books actually. In that period of time, I was laying my hands on everything that I can. And then I started seeing that either they are selling how to do the idea really well, or how to do the tech really well, how to do the design really well, or how to do the growth really well. But no organization can successfully do a transformation unless all the four factors come together. And you might have a great successful project, but it might not sell in the market. And if it doesn't sell in the market, what's the point of building a product? Right? You might have a great idea, but you never execute it. You will not realize anything in front of you. So this simple thread drove me to write that book, because my book, Product to Perfect, is focusing on how to really make an idea a perfect case study and a perfect success story. And to do this, you really need to look at all the four dimensions in depth, and you should adopt techniques, you should adopt the value chain processes for all the four. And that is the main driver for writing the book itself. Now, there are many things that goes into each one of these stages, and I feel that the best products that are successful, you will always find that they excel in all the four topics that I talked about. They are extremely useful, let's say design. They have an outstanding tech behind, fast, efficient, effective, and so on. They adopted great marketing techniques or tactics by hook or cook or by design, whatever it is, right? And also they have really thought through the aspects of the well, from packaging to how you access it, how you read it, what kind of content you put in, etc. So this can only be achieved in a particular way. It cannot be achieved any other way. Because once a product reaches the market, either you wait for a long period of time, right? Because iterations always make a good product. You have seen it in history, right? The first chip of NVIDIA was not even used for anything, right? But today it's one of the best chip maker in the world. And same can be said about a lot of things, about gaming consoles, about the Apple computers, about the electric vehicles. Everything. Electric vehicles, in fact, were introduced 150 years ago. And today there is a big craze because it is iterating and becoming perfect. Now, it will be much more effective if these four factors are focused now in a proper way. You really can realize it in a much faster time. And that's what this book talks about.
Yeah, that is what appealed to me as well, like you rightly said, because you're not just talking about design, but you're going all the way up to adoption and scale, right? And covering the important things, because it's not, like you keep saying, it's not isolated. These are all interlinked in the context of what you set out to achieve, right? And so there needs to be one kind of connected path all the way to scale and adoption. And so, yeah, sorry.
And one of the things that I have always done the last, let's say, 15-20 years is to create mission teams that consist of all the four. I have now been very successful in creating this digital hub in multiple organizations. And I always merge these four factors into one mission team. We have a great mission. We assemble a very good, extremely great clarity about the product and the problem and outcome. We make very good design. not any design, wow design. And we get into extremely good level of quality of tech, and we get into extremely good level of promoting and making the product. But when you put all these four together, the marketing guy really gives great input on product, what will sell, what will not sell. The tech guy will tell you what will cannot be built at all, right? The design guy will come and tell you how simple it should be, how easy it should be, right? And I think when you think through this in a way, it always makes sense. Now, there are practical challenges in any organization. It will be very difficult for you to convince the management to say all these things, four things should be together, because a marketing guy would not like to give away his power and authority to another person. But here we are not talking about running a marketing unit, we are talking about finishing a mission, right? So there is a need for you to differentiate a mission from running a function or a business unit. And that's what I find that is very, very crucial in getting things done the right way and making it really, really successful. If you have to do these value chain, you have to touch these four essential aspects of any mission, and that's what we elaborated in our book.
Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, I mean, as I said, I would highly recommend it. I loved some of the frameworks. There are some counterintuitive ones as well, which we've covered, Shiva, and which is, and that is what makes the book compelling, right? So certainly a good read for everybody, right? Let's talk a little bit about AI, Shiva. This is something that I obviously try to pick the brains of every digital transformation leader I speak with, because obviously it's shaking things up in a big way. There is a lot of uncertainty around how this will play out and how people like you adopt it, use it effectively. There's a lot that everybody can learn, right? But at the same time, I sometimes feel that whenever this discussion of AI happens, people try to project too far out into the future, and that also reduces the utility of some of these inputs that people often give, right? So when I speak with leaders like yourself about AI, I try not to go too far out into the future, right? Because and I think in the case of AI, it's also fair to say that doing so from a practical utility perspective is not effective. Just the sheer scale at which compute, chips, and energies is compounding, it's really hard to foresee where the puck will land and then sort of plan there, right? So therefore, if we just look at maybe 15 to 18 months out, right, or max 2 years out, how do you envision customer experience and personalization, getting looking like with the power of AI behind it, in that time frame? What would your kind of take be, and what is, and if you could qualify it with why you're saying that, that would be
True,
fantastic.
true, true. So, Subhra, a great question, frankly speaking. I think I have seen every kind of events and conferences and all predicting in 10 months, 1 year, all employees will go out of job. You
Yeah.
will no longer have a need for any accountant, clerk, so on and so forth. You can see it. Everyone is trying to say this on and off. Maybe I don't know how far out in future I can predict, but I cannot predict that far. But uh, within the, let's say 2 years or 15 to 18 month timeline, I think what will really happen is AI brings a power that so far we didn't have the ability to predict. Now we can predict reasonably well. Okay, and this predicting capability brings you multiple dimensions. One dimension is experience dimension. Uh, so far, everybody hardwire their screens. Now you have the capability to say, what should I show for Subra? Then hardwiring it for him. Now this is a tremendous power. It's extremely simple, but it will happen. Today I know of organization, even in our organization, we are already practicing this as a AI use case. What that basically means is that Today morning, instead of showing you a standard buy now button, I might show you something else. And it is much easier to use AI to predict what does Subra want. For example, think of it like this. If you just now bought a computer today in Amazon, what is the point in showing again a computer ad in front of you? It's not that today you will buy in the morning and afternoon you will go and buy it again. It's not going to happen, right? So now your costly real estate for online e-commerce retailer can go to something else, a computer utility, let's say a software solution for that computer, or whatever, a cover for your computer. You can think of a whole lot of possibilities, and that's the power of prediction. So that's my first, let's say, major change. This will happen, and I think I have seen so many people using this, starting to using this in a very, very creative way. The second thing is that you starting to see AI is helping you to bring more efficiency in everything that you do. So AI for experience, AI for efficiency is the second big pillar. You don't need, I think, anymore emails to communicate. Your chat is already strong enough to share a document, to send a photo, to send an approval workflow, to reject a case, to clarify. You can name it. Everything can be done in that window. So it can self-compile email and it can self-read an email. So efficiency of that nature is possible thanks to the improvements in AI. It doesn't take away a person's ability to approve or an ability to take a decision. You can't say that, okay, you found a small gap in my foot and then immediately AI will take the decision to cut my foot. It's not logical, right? But at the same time, for a doctor to think it through, decide, and get the facts right, AI is now going to facilitate a different kinds of efficiency that was not there before. So AI can really fundamentally change the way efficiency works. And then the third part is AI for innovation. Now, I feel a lot more new products and product types are going to be introduced into the market thanks to AI's capability. Today, you have tools that make presentation all by themselves. That was not sold even, let's say, a few years ago. It was not there. It just came and is becoming a booming industry. Now, think of prepackaged ideas, prepackaged strategy toolkit, prepackaged, let's say, agentic solution. And I think these are things that are going to be innovated upon thanks to AI and its value chain. Now, fourth, let's say, big paradigm that I see is that today every organization is starting to realize they need to be in an ecosystem. It's no longer just, okay, I'm going to be in a linear scale. I sell a product and I will improve upon it after 5 years. They are constantly thinking, what can they do more for the client? What can they do more with the client? Now, thinking this, always need to think from an ecosystem perspective. So AI helps you to connect multiple ecosystems. A transport operator is now getting connected to food and beverage very, very easily, seamlessly. And that's the power of knowledge, right? If I know that there are 100 people coming in a particular train extra, then the shop, pizza shop, right outside the railway station, can, if that information is available with them, they will be ready with 20 pizzas at a better discount for that people that is coming on that train. So think of these as new product opportunities that otherwise you could never do.
Yeah.
And what could facilitate this better than AI? And I think AI has the ability to facilitate this connecting ecosystem to another ecosystem. And it is a win-win for both the organization. Now, the train organization is going to make a revenue share out of all of these information. The pizza is going to make much more pizzas and sell, and it's going to benefit its ecosystem. Now, there is a fourth, let's say, value chain, which is basically a dramatic machine-to-machine revolution that is also going to happen. I feel that it is no longer required for you to put certain user interfaces that really not required anymore. I think in the past you need to have API gateways for API to connect to another API. You really don't need it anymore. You just put an agentic solution that can talk one API to another API. It will self map and it will come and ask you questions, and you can tell, do this, don't do this, and ready. Here is your API connection ready. Now, there were many such tools to program a networking router, to maintain a call center IVR. All of these are machine to machine. And it is better to power it with AI, and it will help you to make it like a self-help visa. So anything can be kick-started, and it will handle the rest of the pipeline by itself. I think these four are very prominent, visible improvements that AI will bring in, and I think it's going to happen very soon.
No, I loved it. I think the four things that you said, just for if I were to summarize very quickly, one is personalization powered by prediction, or the ability to predict, as you rightly called out, an incredible surge in efficiency and innovation, as you rightly pointed out, bullet point number two. The third, which I think is super fascinating, and I think others should also spend time thinking about it, is just the ecosystem convergence that you spoke of, and almost like an amalgamation or a seamless blending of completely different ecosystems that you would otherwise not expect to converge will start converging. And fourth thing, obviously, is that the nature of user interfaces, as you said, is going to completely change as machines start interacting with each other. Fascinating. And I think you would probably say a lot of this playing out already in the next 15 to 18 months. Fantastic. So Shiva, I think with that, we have come to the end of the podcast. I think this is a super insightful one. I had a great time picking your brains and helping the audience think about some of the problems which I know you've solved so well over the years. So thank you so much for doing this podcast. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Subra. It's a pleasure to talk to you and also to your audience. Thank you so much.